Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm Kat, the nurse flipper. I'm joined by Rod, my co-host picking and punching. And below me, both of them have been on before. It is Troy from Mountain Man Treasures, as well as Keith from Vintage Sports Flips. So we are happy to have them here with us. Their channel links are down in the description for you guys here now, and those of you that will be rewatching later. And Miss Marsha will be putting them into the chat for us. Yeah, Shannon came and did it again. I cannot claim the hair or the makeup. I'm trying to learn. I really am. I'm trying. That's all I can say is I'm trying. I did my makeup for my videos that I did for this week, but it doesn't look like this. I tried. And I'll go ahead and show you guys. I posted it on Instagram. If you did not see, I did get my octopus done. So now I do have knuckles for you guys now. Octopus is there. And awesome. The swelling has went down a little bit. I'm starting to have knuckles, but if you look at my hands, you can see the size difference. It's still pretty swollen. And he wanted me to come back next week, and I'm like, I think I might want a couple of weeks. Like, let me see how my hand feels.
That looks great though. Yeah, really colorful.
Yeah, I love how it came out. So really, we're down to just ocean, except for these two stingrays need to be filled in, and then it's all blue, which is it's gonna hurt. But the whole background will be blue. So yeah, that is hopefully just 2 more appointments. I hope. The hand was super painful. I will not lie. Like, it was absolutely horrid. It was horrid. So let me make Troy and Keith big. Let them introduce themselves to you guys, tell you what they have going on. And then I want to tell you guys now at the beginning of the show, we have over 20 questions already in queue. So chances are that if you do not get your question in within like probably the next 15 to 30 minutes, we're not going to get to it. That's just going to be reality tonight. Questions started coming in. Let me look. I'll tell you guys how long they've been at 4:00 this afternoon.
We have 5 questions
started coming in.
5 questions in the super chat at 4:00 this afternoon.
Yes. So. And we will credit that to my daughter. Brooke sent out my newsletter and reminded all of you to come ask your questions early. So we'll give Brooke credit for the newsletter and those questions. But definitely get your questions in early tonight for sure. All right. So here is Mr. Troy.
Hi. Yeah. Apologies for the light. I don't know what's happening today. It's terrible. Mountain Man Treasure. I admittedly haven't put a video up for a couple weeks. It's been, there's been reasons. I'm going to get back. There's videos are coming. And then also we have a paranormal channel, completely unrelated to reselling. It's sort of the side fun gig. I have a little paranormal channel. We go and do ghost hunts and stuff like that. So that's Big Sky Paranormal. So those are my 2 channels, and I have fun doing it.
All right, perfect. Here's Keith.
Hello, everyone. Keith, my main YouTube channel, Vintage Sport Flips. I specialize in picking vintage sports memorabilia. So I have a picking video every Saturday, and I have a live podcast every Wednesday night, which Rod's going to be on the channel tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern time. We're drafting like funniest movie scenes. And I have a second channel, Rips and Brews, which is a beer tasting card ripping channel. Pretty new channel.
Perfect. We actually, for those of you that do drink, I did get our Take a Shot super chat uploaded. So if anybody wants that one, it is there. For those of you that do drink and might want to take a shot with your super chat, just tell me in the super chat. All right. Speaking of super chats, we're going to start off because Lala, I guess we could start off. I'll show you it. It's new. Gino made it. Why not? If you drink, feel free to take a shot. If you don't, then please do not blame my show for any alcohol problems, please. Please. All right. Here we go. So Lala, I hope you don't mind that I'm giving you this. So this is our newest super chat. Ta-da!
Yes.
Thank you, Gino. Spacey sent a question and said, when selling a vintage or newer item, home decor, not clothing, and there is original price tag for less than your sold price, do you remove that sticker before shipping the item to the buyer?
Vintage or newer item. On vintage, I don't. Often people love seeing the old Kmart sticker, right? Or, whatever it is. Newer, like home decor, maybe, like if it's newer and you're talking like something that's like from Target or something, you don't necessarily want that on there. Definitely take the Goodwill sticker off. People tend to get offended when you send them something with a Goodwill sticker on there. I haven't done it yet, but I've seen it happen. Vintage, always I leave it on there. Newer, I guess it would be dependent on that tag and maybe what it is.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, if it's a vintage price tag, I leave it on. It gives a little bit more of an idea. Maybe it's unused, unless the tag's on the bottom, but I still leave it on. People get the history of like what the price was back in 1980 or whatever that piece is. Newer stuff I would remove, especially like auction house stickers, Goodwill stickers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, newer stickers I do remove if it's just like you two just said. When it comes to vintage stickers, absolutely not. Keep those on there. It helps. First off, it helps date the item. Also, too, there is a special group of people out there that do collect items that have certain stickers on. And I'll give you guys some examples. KB Toy Works, Toys R Us, Blockbuster. There's a huge market for Blockbuster stuff. So you have something that has a Blockbuster sticker on, keep it on, because those can actually bring a premium. People would go out and spend a premium for items that have those certain stickers on over the other items that are listed online.
That's funny. So KB Toys was like one of my favorite stores to go to growing up. And those are my initials. They are still my initials to this day. So I was like, that's my toy store.
My brother worked there actually in high school. My brother worked at KB's. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to go to KB in the mall all the time. So for me, I'm going to agree with everybody else. Now for newer items, if it's like a price tag, like on clothing, like a hang tag, I'm not going to remove it regardless of what I'm pricing it at, whether it's like higher or lower. Most of the time it's lower than the MSRP. So I'm like, what do I care if they see it says 70, I sold it for 40. But definitely the yard sale, the Goodwill, all of those stickers are going to come off. And one of my research videos I did, I think it was last week, there was something that sold for like either $500 to $1,000, and the seller left the 75 cents on the tag. And I was like, holy crap, like that takes some cojones to do, to leave that 75 cents there when you're selling it for 500 to 1,000. But yeah, so I would remove it. The vintage stuff, I don't care if it says $1.99 and I sell it for 500. That it, like what it cost 20 years ago has nothing to do with the value now. So those always stay here regardless. La. When recording for YouTube, sometimes I like to show what sold. How do you record your screenshots of your solds? I feel like I'm doing it a super long way.
So like an item that you sold during a picking video and you sold it, I usually just go to my solds and on my phone and take a screenshot of that thing. I mean, I'm pretty in my editing and all of that. I mean, it's pretty basic. I don't put fancy stuff in. So
yeah, I do the similar thing. I screenshot on my phone, then I airdrop to my Mac, and I use iMovie to edit. So I do all the cropping on my phone and then airdrop it.
I do the same exact thing. I screenshot from my phone and airdrop it to because I have a Mac as well. But I will say, if it's taking you a super long time, you can just speak and let people know, or do an overlay of just like text of what it's sold for too. So there's different ways if it's taking you that long, because remember, time is money also. So you don't want to spend a lot of time putting out videos that it's going to not give the return that you want either.
Mm-hmm.
So they all three are doing it the long way, and that was the way I started doing it. And it took me forever to do the screenshots, and then I had to overlay the screenshots onto it, size it. Now I do all my what solds in StreamYard, and I share the screen. And you can do it with you on the side. I choose not to because I want to show the buyers the item and feature the item. So if you guys watch my What Sold, you see me at the beginning, you see me at the end. The middle is all just the items, not me. You hear me, obviously, but then I don't have to do any screenshots because I'm doing a live screen share and I'm showing you the item. I do have 20, like I go open 20 tabs if I'm showing 20 sold items. I share my screen and people have said they like that better. I used to hold the items up for my videos. I don't know how long you guys have been watching me, but doing it that way, like I'm holding it up for, 20 seconds. You're not seeing the markings good. You're not seeing the measurements, which you can see from the listing. And people said they really like seeing the listings for keywords too. So you see how my title was and things like that. So that is what I have switched to. I do edit it to crop in on the item when I'm scrolling through the picture. So it is a little bit more editing, but it's still faster than having to go through 20 screenshots of the item. And if I wanted to show a screenshot of the bottom to show you signature, then you're talking about 40 screenshots that I have to take and overlay. So that's how I do it. See, Karen likes the way I do it.
I think it just depends on how you're doing your video. Like for me, I'm walking around my garage pulling orders. So as I'm pulling orders, you're sitting in front of you're not pulling your orders, right, Kat, when you do yours? Unless I saw.
No, yeah. I go back the week after. And see, that's the thing too, is when I did it that way, I used to have to like pull them, lay them out, so they were kind of lined up in the order where I'm looking at my phone for what they sold for. Yeah. And it just like that way took a lot longer time too. And my shipping was delayed because I would have to pull the items, then record a video and then ship. So with doing the screen shares, now I can do that video on one day. Plus I can kind of pick and choose the better solds from the week to show them versus just Monday's sales, which is what I used to do because Monday we always had the most going out. So I chose to record videos on the busiest shipping day. And it just, now it worked out better the way that I'm doing it for me. And I think I had a couple people say they wanted to see like me holding it, but I would say 90% plus were in favor of the way I do it now. That's why I continue doing it that way. If a lot of people had told me, no, I want to see you holding up the item, I prefer, to see the item in the camera, I would have reverted back to that. But the majority actually like the screen share even better. All right, Stephanie wants thoughts on eBay scan form. Just used one for the first time, and my post office said eBay does not accept scan forms if a package gets lost. Recommended them scanning each one to start tracking. Oh, my employees would not be happy if they heard somebody say that. That's all I'll say.
I don't do the scan sheet. It's really dependent on your post office, and my post office is awesome. I know a lot of people always have troubles, and I love my post office. There's the same 3 or 4 people usually working when I walk in with my IKEA bag, and the same lady makes the same joke every time I leave, says, "Thanks for your deposit." And, I just drop them off on the counter and then walk out because I know 98% of the time they're going to get scanned just fine. Like every once in a while they miss one, but I never mess with the scan sheet at all. So I guess I don't have any knowledge to share on that one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I've never used a scan sheet. I use Pirate Ship to ship both for eBay and Etsy. And I'm not sure if you can do a scan sheet for Pirate Ship. Maybe you can. But I have a great mailman who picks up at my house, scans every package. Make sure I take care of him nicely on the holiday because he does a great job for me. So, but yeah.
Yeah, give your mailman, give him something.
Yeah.
And the post office. If you go to the post office, every year I bring them a tray of cookies and stuff, and they love it so much.
Well, Kat, we know that's
I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna spill the beans when it gets to be my turn. I'm just gonna let it go.
Okay, well, it's you guys are in for a treat. Care. Get your popcorn bucket.
Popcorn ready.
For me, when it comes to Scantron, I tried it in the past, but then it was a pain in the ass because I had to stand in line and wait for the person to scan the thing, and time is money. So when I go to, I live in a brand new community, so they weren't doing pickup in my community. And I don't really have that big of a porch. And I had a lot of construction workers in my community, so I didn't want to just do my packages. So I just take it to the post office, and I literally have an area where I can just dump all my packages. So I literally walk in there. I'm there for literally less than a minute, and it's the best. I tell you, the best feeling ever is during Christmas time when there's line outside the door and you walk in with a garbage bag full of packages. You just dump them in, and everyone's giving you that stink eye at the corner. They just want to. They're so angry that you're just walking in, dumping in, and you turn around and you walk right out. Yeah. That beats the scan form all day long. So. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I will say eBay will accept a scan form because when they scan it, it is just like they scanned it individually. So they will accept that. That is not untrue. If they pick up at your house, though, the postal carrier does have to scan them individually. They cannot accept a scan form, for those of you that do not know. I was laughing about the post. I'm just going to tell you guys the tea here. So I was laughing about this because my favorite postal carrier retired, and the new guy that we have that delivers to our house is not so nice, and he will stuff the mailbox to where things are falling out of it. And as far as the actual post office, my now ex-husband was flirting with the counter girl there. And so whenever she's there on a Monday, we conveniently lose the scan form and make her scan all 50 or 60 of the packages. So my post office nor my postal carrier will be getting anything from me for the holidays. Rod's hiding on that note. Leroy said you need to mute it. So we're not too thrilled with our postal workers around here. Yeah. And she runs and hides when I go in the post office, and I don't blame her. I would run and hide too. All right. Anyways, Karen said she has a large empty Tiffany box, 12 by 12 by 4, and a shopping bag that's 20 by 18 flat. How would you ship it with the bag? And is it okay to fold the bag smaller, or does that create a problem?
And a shopping. Is it a paper bag, I guess? I mean, if it's a paper bag, it's going to crease it, right? So anything that's paper, you'd want to sandwich between cardboard. And then if I sandwich with cardboard, then I usually put it in a poly mailer just to make sure that it's protected. So I guess I don't know if it's a paper bag or not, but yeah, I probably wouldn't fold it if it is. So you might, if you're selling those together, you might have to ship separately, I guess.
Yeah, for me, I think maybe two options. One, you could try to lightly roll the bag. I ship a lot of pennants. That's what I specialize in, lightly rolled, and that usually does increase a pennant. So that might help. Or maybe reach out to the buyer and say, do you mind if I fold this to fit into a smaller package? Might be an option for you.
I've shipped a bunch of designer bags and stuff like that. And what I do is I'm shipping bags in a box because I've sold a lot of bags in boxes in the past. I literally get a box big enough to fit the bags in first, lay the bags down flat on the bottom, protect those, put the box on top. Then I Frankenstein the box to get it, to shorten it a little bit there to the other box, and I just ship it like that. So that's especially if they're buying it together because they're going to want those. You probably don't want it if you do want to fold up and put it in the box to save on shipping. Make sure you message the buyer first and ask permission. Say, hey, do you mind if I do this, or do you want it flat? If they want it flat, then just ship it together in a box that's big enough to fit the one and put the box on top of it.
Yeah, so for me, I'll tell you with those two different sizes, and I've been selling a lot of boxes and bags as well, I would not list those two together. I would list them separately because you do not need to fold the bag. And Rod's right. So you'd be having to have a 20 by 18 box for a 12 by 12 box. And that shipping dimension is going to make it big. So our bags, we just simply sandwich them in cardboard. So it would be 20 by 18 by 1, where when you go to 20 by 18 by 5 or 6, you're talking about a really big increase in shipping rate. So if you did sell them together, I would probably ship separately. I think it would be cheaper because you could get like a 14 by 14 by 6 or something for the box. And I would not fold the bag. But I purposely don't list them together like that unless the bag's the same size as the box. So like if I had a 16 by 16 box that was already going to be oversized, that I might sell with that size of bag. But that box I feel like is too little for that bag. Am I making sense?
Yep.
Like the sizes don't matter. Or don't match is what I was trying to say. So personally, I would sell the two separately is what I would do.
Now, if the buyer bought both of them and they were separate auctions and they want to combine them,
I would still probably ship. I think you're going to be cheaper to ship separately because you really do need it flat.
And you're going to get a cheap first class rate to ship the bag. It's going to be like 8 ounces, Some
of those are like 2 pounds when you have that much cardboard, though, because you've got a 20 by 20 piece of cardboard on either side.
Not to mention the designer bags are super thick. They're like heavy duty thick.
All right, let's see. Okay, this is a 2-part, so you have to listen. Marty said she had a nice lady buy 3 Americana items from one of her platforms last week. She was happy about it. She left 3 glowing reviews. Hooray again. Then it got weird. Each review got more and more political. I'm wondering if anyone has ever asked for a good review with unwanted or unrelated comments to be taken down because she views her shop as an apolitical space.
No. I mean, sometimes you get weird feedback, and sometimes it's funny weird, and sometimes it's like this. I would just let, depending on what your rate of feedback is, I guess. I mean, if you're going to get 3, 4, 5 more feedback in the next couple of days, it's going to bump it off like that front screen, at least on eBay. And pretty soon, other stuff's going to bury it, and it's just going to be on there as a positive. And people may, if they dig into your feedback history, see it and be like, "Oh, that's weird." I don't think it's going to reflect on you at all. So I would leave it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think when people are looking through feedback, so they're probably going to scan past all the positives real quick, right? Not necessarily read them too in depth. I mean, you could nicely ask the buyer if they mind revising that, but I can't imagine. I had someone do that on Etsy. Etsy would not take it down. Theirs was not like a friendly comment, but they wouldn't take it down. So I have a feeling that the platform probably wouldn't do anything, but maybe the person would if you asked them. But
I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest. At the end of the day, you're just going to be wasting more time on it. Just like they said, you're going to get more positive feedback. It's going to go down there. And honestly, if I went to click on someone's feedback and they had some type of ridiculous review on there, and it's not about their service, I can care less about it. Like most people have common sense and know that's not whatever they're saying doesn't relate to what you're doing. Unless you sold something political at that point in time, then I could see them making a political comment on there. But it happens on my YouTube. It happens on my eBay store. I've gotten the most bizarre and weirdest comments in the past, and sometimes they're funny. People put pictures of their feet in my comments before on eBay. All right, they have pictures of their drug containers of like whatever their prescription drugs were, like the most ridiculous things are comments on there. And eBay does not take it down. They just don't. So I wouldn't worry about it. And I hadn't had one single person comment or reach out to me about those comments. And I've sold over 15,000 items on eBay. I had never had an issue about it.
Yeah, I've never asked for one to be taken down. If you watch our show, we were live during the election, and we do not allow any political or religious comments in our chat. So I view my channel as well as my store the same way. I want it a neutral zone because I don't think it really pertains to that. But I don't think I would ask for it to be taken down because the feedback's going to get recycled, that's going to get bumped down. And most of the time, what people are looking at are the negatives. They're not they might gloss over the positives. Just Lucky Jesus, but that's his name. That's LJ. LJ's here almost every week. But I don't think I would bother with it.
What about this? Because if you read the question, it says, has anyone ever asked for a good review? So one thing I will tell a lot of people, and I think you probably have the same way on this, is let it lie. If I don't ask people for a review, they don't leave me a review. Don't force someone to leave you a review because maybe they had something bad happened and then you just trigger that, like, oh, I need to leave them a review, or they had something good. But most of the time, people are only going to leave a review if they have an issue with it. A fraction of people are going to leave a review if it's good. So I wouldn't even question or ask people to leave you positive reviews because they will sometimes, as spite, leave you a negative review as well.
Because you bug them.
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for. Yeah. No review is positive. Yeah.
Rod, you just brought something up. I have a question for the panel and the chat. So I bought a pair of basketball shoes for a friend, and I immediately realized that I left it on my address, not to go to my friend's. Okay. Seller has no returns and they had to be authenticated. And I'm talking within 15 minutes. I said, please, I need to cancel this order. I will repurchase immediately. I need to change the address. And the seller ignored me for 4 days. This was Friday, early Friday. I paid right away. And then I immediately asked to cancel, to change the address, because I had it in my cart and had changed the address. And then I changed the size, I think. Anyways, so 4 days they had to see my cancellation. Totally ignored me. I messaged them and said, please, like, I don't need these shoes to come here. I need them to get to where they're going ASAP. I will tell you, we ended up having to buy the shoes in person because there wasn't enough time for them to come to me and then go there because it's out of town. Would you leave negative feedback for that seller?
Yeah, I mean, they had plenty of time. They had time enough to ship it. They certainly would have seen the request.
Message and the actual cancellation. I put in the official cancellation within 15 minutes of the order.
Yeah, I mean, that seems easy.
Yeah, especially them not responding to you at all, right? I guess people were
At
not
all,
obliged
throughout the whole transaction.
Yeah, I probably would. I mean, at least communicate. If they would have communicated a little bit.
I am leaning towards doing it, and I will tell you, they have 100% positive feedback right now. Mine will be their only negative if I do.
I mean, I feel like that's intentionally like, hey, if I ignore it, maybe they'll just keep it.
And no return. I had no choice. I had to go buy the shoes in person because and I would have bought them immediately from them again.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely leave negative feedback on that because that's just bad customer service.
Like the whole thing was horrible.
I will tell you, it sucks getting a cancellation minutes after someone buys it. I will tell you, it's happened to me. It's happened to me twice actually in the last 48 hours where someone's bought something and they've canceled. It happened on Whatnot twice, and then it happened on eBay twice. Actually, I had like 4 this past week. Jeez, now I think about it. But it's now I'm PTSD.
I mean, it's about your experience with the purchase, right?
Well, no, it is. And at the end of the day, we put hard work listing those items, and I see that side of it from a seller point of view, but also too from a seller, like the customer is always right majority of the time. You want to do everything you can to make that customer happy and have a good experience because in theory, you want that customer to come back and buy from you again in the future. Because if you had a storefront and if you had a brick and mortar, you want to have repeat buyers because that's what keeps your business afloat. And by doing that, you would never buy from that buyer again. Now, would you?
No. Oh, no, there's no way. And the lucky thing is the shoes sold in 3 days for $22 more than I bought them for. So it covered the fees and I got the shoes sold. So, I mean, I just relisted them, but they no returns, no option for it. We had no option but to go, send a gift card so they could buy the shoes in person. And it just ticked me no, not even a response, nothing throughout the whole thing. It just it really, and I was like, I think I wrote them. I'm like, as another seller, I'm like extremely disappointed because I wanted to buy them. It wasn't like I was saying, oh, I found these cheaper, I don't want them. I just need to change the friggin' address. And somebody put this, and I wish eBay would do this. Poshmark will let you change the address if the seller hasn't shipped. I would love to see that feature be available on eBay, both as a seller and a buyer.
So of course, that brings up the change the address request, which I think is hilarious because I'm usually on the other side of the argument, and I'm just a contrarian. But so I don't know if we want to get into that or not. But
well, we could. I mean, but this goes back to what we were just saying. So now, if this seller were to reach out to Kat to ask Kat to leave positive feedback,
I would have left the negative so fast.
She will be. So right now, she's on the fence. If that seller reached out to her and said, "Hey, would you leave me positive feedback?" Immediately, Kat would go to her computer and leave them negative feedback
buddy.
without skipping a beat.
Yeah.
Don't poke the bear.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely would. I probably will anyways. I needed to think on it and I really want it. What's the chat saying? Let's see. I see negative, bad customer service. Gina said neutral. I'm not a neutral kind of person. I'm going one way or the other.
You're all in or all out.
Yeah.
So.
Bad customer service, negative. Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm not blocking them. I mean, I'm not going to buy shoes from them. I don't think no feedback. I feel like other customers need to know that their customer service sucks.
Yeah. If you
Like,
leave no feedback, that's essentially a positive feedback.
That's positive feedback.
Hey, I had a good transaction. It was fine. Whatever. Like,
and I didn't have a good transaction.
Exactly.
Like, even if they had answered after, hey, sorry, I didn't see your message. I already shipped it, which would have been BS. You know, they friggin' saw the thing. I sent an official cancellation notice. Like,
they get a notification to their phone. They get a notification to their email.
4 days before they shipped.
To your eBay account. So, yeah.
All right. Got it. All right. Sean said he accepted a $200.
Can you leave it right now, Kat? Can you do it right now? Just leave it for us live.
Can you share your screen while you do it?
Yeah. What are we going to say?
Have the chat.
Crowdsource it.
Okay. Everybody tell me what I'm saying. Hold on. I got to find it.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Ruined this present.
Okay. Here we go. I'll share it.
Oh, I was going to do this.
I'll share it. Okay. Here it is. Okay. Let me take Sean's question off. Okay. We're leaving negative feedback. I don't want to contact the seller. They don't answer me. Look, but so you guys know, look what it says. It says, had an issue. Sellers try their best to help. Give them a chance to make it right. I did. Okay. I'm just going to put the facts. Let me see what's the chat saying. Yeah, Marcia says leave the facts. I'm not leaving you negative, Scott. You're safe. Listen here, Aaron. I'm going to buy something from you and leave negative feedback, buddy. Okay. Okay.
Is it okay to solicit feedback? No, you guys don't want to solicit feedback. Don't solicit feedback.
Ask seller immediately after purchasing to cancel order so shipping address could be changed. Seller ignored request and didn't respond to messages for 4 days prior to shipping.
Was a present. Make sure you put there's a present in there.
Was a gift and needed to go to a different address.
Instead of my own.
Would have repurchased immediately. Need to go to a different address instead of my own. Okay, anything else?
Resold them for profit. Ha ha.
Horrible experience.
That's good.
Horrible experience. Would not purchase from this seller.
This has to be caps. Will not purchase from seller again. Bad customer service. Should I write that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? If we're going all in.
And I'm a person who never leaves negative feedback, ever.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give the rate.
Dear shoe seller, you suck.
Give the rate at the bottom now, Kat.
I'm going to be true on this. Their description was good. The shipping cost was fine. The shipping time was like meh. And the seller communication, if I could give it a 0, I would. I'm giving it a 1. Look, it goes 5531.
Why don't you go upload a picture of you just giving the middle finger? All right, there you go. That'd be nice. Leave the feedback.
Okay, leave it. Now they no longer have 100%. You're welcome.
You may be the first person on YouTube to leave negative feedback on eBay live.
Live.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm a seller. I don't take that. Lightly.
Yeah,
I don't take it lightly. But you know what? All right. Scott's paying me to not leave him a negative feedback. Scott, I hope you didn't sell me those shoes. No, I know. I know.
In her revision, she'll revise it for the $10. So you're good.
Yeah. If we did, we'll do a revision. All right. I'm going to give you the whale. I like the whale. Here you go. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Bad cat. Beware of this seller. I mean, I think I got my point across. All right. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry. We got side railed. I got side railed. Sean says he accepted an offer for $200 for a brooch. They have not paid. Sean, if you're still in the chat, I would like to know how long it's been since they haven't paid. I think that's an important piece of information. He said this morning he checked their profile. They have 4 reviews. The account's been there since 2019. The location is China. Would you be concerned and would you cancel the order?
I mean, I'm not concerned as far as that goes, I guess. They have what, 4 days to pay, so you just let it ride.
Sold yesterday. There's our info.
Yeah, I mean, if they only have a couple of feedback and they've been on there for 5 years, they're just an infrequent buyer, right? So a lot of people aren't on it. They don't have the app, and they're not on it 24 hours like we are. They made the offer and then they went on with their day. They may have forgotten that they even made an offer, or they didn't realize it was accepted or whatever. So, I mean, sometimes it's just an innocent, not familiar with the platform sort of thing. Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't be concerned about it. I'd be annoyed, and you just sit and you wait out the clock for 4 days and then you cancel.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be concerned about the infrequent buyer, like Troy said. I mean, those people a lot of people don't use eBay frequently and maybe don't understand the whole process that well. But I would send them maybe a message like 48 hours in saying, look, you bought this. I haven't received payment yet. Do you plan on paying for it? Do you still want it? And then at the 4 days, I would cancel, relist if they hadn't paid yet.
So one of the biggest things I would tell you when you have international buyers, and this happens a lot to me over the years, where they buy it and they don't pay it for like maybe 2 or 3 days later. One is there's a massive time difference. We take that in consideration. There's also cultural differences, how they do business and how they do things, when they work, when they don't work, when they have their family and their free time separate from each other. So take that into consideration. Anytime I have an international buyer, I always give them an extra 2 or 3 days just to go through the purchase, because sometimes there is other factors that do play into them making payment.
Sorry, we have somebody causing some issues over on Facebook that I'm trying to take care of, and I don't think I have anyone that can remove Facebook comments. So give me 2 seconds to get rid of these.
No problem.
That's why I have instant require immediate pay or whatever to avoid some of it. Now, it doesn't always work. Like there's some instances where it doesn't work, but that helps avoid some of the issue.
Yeah, I think the key thing on here is accepted an offer. So if that if that's not 100% yet rolled out,
it would have null and void the pay. Well, some of them it makes them pay automatically.
Yeah, right.
I agree with the 4 days. I have a lot of people from China buy both jewelry and like teacups and breakables. A lot of my stuff goes to China. So I would not be concerned at all about the location or the like minimal purchases, especially a $200 brooch. It might be a collector that just buys a brooch a year for themselves for Christmas. You don't know. And yeah, Lucas is making a good point. Now on eBay, the item's still available for someone else to purchase until that buyer pays.
Yep.
So that's really important as well. I don't even know how to do it, Aaron. I don't know how to do it.
Also, too, another factor is I see a lot of buyers that will, if I send out offers and they don't have automatic offer accepted, like automatic payment on, that say if I send out an offer on a Wednesday, they'll buy it on a Wednesday, but they won't pay it a Friday, because you got to remember, Wednesday usually people get paydays on a Friday. So a lot of times, depending on when people's payday falls, I'll get a lot of offers that accepted like the night before or maybe a couple days prior to that, because they know that they have.
They'll send it like Thursday.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yep. So that's happened a lot over the years too, where a buyer sometimes they'll message you, sometimes they won't. But it's funny is you get the payment on Friday always.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Karen says she's new to Posh and she's getting messages they want to buy but need more photos or videos. Is that real or scam?
I don't know. It's been a while since I sold on Posh. Like I got tired of the constant sharing and just so I just shuttered that Poshmark store because I got annoyed with it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I had a store briefly, but never sold anything. I'm not on there anymore. I never got that request, but I can't imagine how that would be a scam. But maybe I'm wrong.
So how the scam works is they'll leave you a comment, and it's usually in high dollar items, and they'll say, "Hey, my husband wants to look at this. We need some photos or videos. Can you please?" And then they'll put in like a phone number, but they'll have it like spread out or something like that. And they say,
Okay.
"Hey, please send the photos here. We need more photos." 100% it's a scam on there.
Gotcha.
Don't fall through. I usually reply, "Not today, Satan scammer." That's usually my response on Poshmark. So if you see that, and then I just hit the report button. I report them. So
Yeah, you can report them as contact off of platform, and they'll get them, and it is a scam. And they're asking them to be sent to a phone number or an email, and that's how they're trying to get around it. And I've had them do that on items with like 20 pictures, and I'm like, sure, you need more photos.
They set up a bot, so it's an actual bot that does it. And as soon as you because I cross list my items, as soon as I cross list any item over like $100, I automatically get that comment on there, or any item like over a couple $100, automatically get the comment every single time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, I will tell you though, on Posh, sometimes it seems like a scam, but it's not. People will ask to see you wearing the item. And I think that's because but I don't think it's a scam. A lot of people on Posh model their own items. So like in that case, like a lot of things, I'm like, I can't fit in this little bitty jacket. Like, I'm like, sorry, I can't fit in it. But I think a lot of that is real. I don't think a lot of that's a scam, or like they want to see you like holding the purse to see how far it like drops down.
Or they
because
just like
that's the way Posh works.
We call those perverts.
Yeah.
We call those perverts.
Boys.
I'm just letting you know. It's creepers,
but
whatever.
It's not stuff that could be creepy. Like showing a purse is not like, it's not like, show me those high heels with your toes.
Shoes.
Can you just model this purse? I want to make sure it matches your natural skin color. So make sure you're naked while you do it. All right. I just want to
make sure you show me your feet, please.
So.
Side rail. All right. Wendy said, how long did it take on your primary selling platform before you felt like I got this? I just started selling part-time this year, and I'm wondering when I will quit feeling like a newbie.
I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that just sort of happens, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm okay here. I mean, you learn as you go. You're always learning something new. You always screw something up and realize, and you pay to learn, you mess something up, and then you're like, well, I'm not going to do that again. You pay money to send something because you screwed up with shipping, or, whatever it is. I don't know if you ever learn everything. I got to feel within the first year, maybe. I don't know. I think it's nebulous. At least for me, it just sort of happened.
Yeah. For me, I think I started on eBay 20 years ago. So it's like, I don't remember exactly how long it took me, but I got to feel like 6 months in, you had to get the gist of it, got a sense of how to do it. eBay's changed a lot since then. So constantly learning.
So, Wendy, I will say, I know a lot of people have been selling on the platform for 5, 10, 20 years that still don't fully understand eBay. So it's okay not to. That's okay.
Yeah.
I will say, though, is the way I would judge it is by having wins along the way. Like, if it took you 20 minutes to list an item, now it takes you 5, that's a giant win. Now you're starting to get a grasp of it. If shipping took you 15 minutes, now you can ship items in under 5 minutes. Now that's a big win. These little things are what you want to do. Are you taking better photos than you did 6 months ago? Are you taking, are you listing more items per day than you previously had because you just get the gist of it? Are you able to search eBay for comps a lot faster? Are you better looking at, can you comp items without even looking them up sometimes? Those are wins along the way. So as long as you get a bunch of small wins, you will start feeling a lot more confident the way you go. So don't look at it as that I need to fully grasp this. Look at those daily wins you're getting along the way, and that's going to help you feel that confidence.
I still don't know that I've got this, right? Like, we still, years in, can make mistakes. We still are going to make bad buys. Brooke brought Buddy in here.
And you sell what? Over 6 figures a year right now? So the chat knows. Yeah. And you still don't, and you're saying that you sell 6 figures a year and you still don't feel confidence in it.
He's getting bigger.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
You're ridiculous. He's getting big very fast. And he likes to chew. Not on my hand. It hurts. All right. Brooke brought Buddy to tell you guys good night. Right. Okay.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, Buddy. So yeah, I mean, I sold like between the platforms last year close to $400,000, and I think the platforms are always changing things. There's always new rules. There's always it's always changing. So I don't know that you really can. Does that make like you're always learning? This is something that's changing. You're gonna make bad buys. You're gonna lose money on shipping still. Still I do. And I've been doing this for over 20 years, So
and some of that's because you are confident, right? Like you're like, oh, that's a pound, and you listen and you go to and it's like 2.5. You're like, oh, yeah.
And that's gonna happen.
I will say
Buddy
this.
Buddy doesn't want to leave. He's under the.
I have a video. I've been selling on. I'm a third generation picker. Okay, my grandparents are pickers. My dad's a picker. I'm a third generation picker, and I had the biggest mistake I've ever made in my entire life in reselling, in September, and I'm going to put a video out on it. And it was devastating. Like I made a giant mistake. I'm not going to say what it is now. It's going to be. I'll put it on my card channel and stuff like that. But even to this day, that's how we live and we learn. We make giant mistakes. We make, mistakes. We make things that cost us a ton of money, but that's how we learn. I feel very confident in what I do, but at the same point in time is I'm human. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up along the way. So it's okay. So don't feel down on yourself that you're never going to understand it or feel this way. It's part of the learning process. And what you sell now is going to be completely different when you're going to sell 2 years from now. And platforms you sell on may be differently, and the way you do your business is going to be differently, but the best way to feel comfortable in what you do is by adapting and changing along the way. If you're able to
and you're going to do it more and more, but you still when my sales are down, I still, like I said, I still might feel like I don't have this. To all of you, it might seem like I have this, but I don't feel like I have this. Now, last week, we were up 40% over last month. So I think we're at 20 now. It sucks when I drop $1,000 day. I go from 40% to 20. But I mean, we're still up over last month. But when it's down, it's easy to feel like you don't have it. So I think all of us, and I mean, maybe they don't, I don't know, but I feel like everyone at some point all the time is going to feel like you don't have it. Something's going to go wrong. Sales will be down. You jack up your shipping. Something breaks that you've packaged 100 times. Why did it break this time? I don't know. So I think the more you do it though, the more comfortable you'll feel with it. It's just experience. So I don't know that it's a time thing, because you might be selling 1 item a day, or you could be selling 5 items a day, so I think if you're selling 5 items a day, you're going to feel comfortable faster. And if you're selling less, it could take, a year. If you're selling 1 or less items a day, that's really not a lot to kind of get you accustomed to everything that could be thrown your way. And you're never going to be ready for everything. You're going to have this YouTuber that calls you out and leaves you negative feedback when you've had 100% for years and stuff hits the fan.
One thing I would say, especially for new sales out there, don't get discouraged when you look at your daily sales and you don't get a sale that day, or you have 1 sale that day, because that's the biggest takeaway I think a lot of sellers have. They get down themselves. And when that happens, take a step back, look at what your week has done, look at what your month has done. If you break it down by day in the very beginning, you can be very frustrating. Just the fact that you're starting out, you're still learning, you're not going to get a lot of sales. But if you take a step back, oh wow, you know what? Yeah, I didn't have any sales the last 2 days, but you know what? Monday I did a $300 day. This week's gonna be better than last week. So you change your mindset on things sometimes, and sometimes you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, not just break it down to the micro. Look at the macro. Love it.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of, what was your worst mistake when you first started reselling? Anything you would have done differently when starting out?
Yeah, I mean, the shipping is a big one. Everybody messes up shipping. It's just, I remember doing, I don't know if it was free shipping or I didn't charge enough or something. I ended up paying to ship. I was in the hole to send a sleeping bag to Hawaii, because I goofed up. I don't remember exactly how, but I messed it up. But the biggest, just operationally, is have a sorting system, have a filing system. when I started, it was a part-time gig. I had one shelf, and it was very easy to find the thing on the shelf that sold and pack it up. And it felt like very quickly went from one shelf to now you've got a bunch of totes, and then there's 2 racks of totes, and then I never had so I don't have a SKU system. I generally remember like, oh, that's in this bin, that's in this bin. I'm pretty good at that. But then the $5, $10 item that you sold that you listed 3 years ago, you spend 15 minutes because you can't remember where you put the dumb thing. It's always the small, almost worthless thing that you maybe shouldn't have listed
every time.
Like, I don't know. It's never the $100 item. It's always like a $10 free shipping item. Start, even if you only have a few things, start a filing system and stick to it, because it's really hard to go back. And I'm trying to go back and skew things, but it's just tough when you've got 2,500 listings to go backwards. So have a filing system, stick to it.
Yeah, that's a great one Troy mentioned. I know if I sell one of my older listings, when I immediately have like a little shot in my gut, like, where is that thing? Because that was way before I started skewing things. And then back when I started reselling, biggest problem for me was not looking at sell-through rates. I would buy these big bulk lots. There was no smartphones back then, so really couldn't do much looking up at the site. But now that's an important thing to look at, how long you're going to have it in your inventory.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, I had so many mistakes over the years, especially when I first started out. One is overbuying. I think overbuying is probably the biggest mistake a lot of new resellers buy, because buying is the best part of the game. Sourcing is the most fun. That's why you guys are out there. We're modern day treasure hunters. We're out there looking for those items. So you find yourself buying and not listing, and then your death pile becomes that little molehill turns into a mountain, over time. And then you are overwhelmed and you don't want to do work, and it really, brings you down. So that was one of them. I would also say not buying a label printer. I will say that probably in the last, I didn't buy a label printer. I didn't have a label printer the first 15 years was on eBay. And it wasn't until one Christmas I'll never forget this. I think I had 57 orders, and I had to sit there and cut out the paper, and I hated life. And that was me just being frugal, being cheap, not buying something. And I decided at that point in time, I need to buy myself a label printer, because time is money. And I realized how much money I was losing by not doing that. And of course, right in the beginning, I didn't have a SKU system. It ran the same problem everyone else does. I learned a long time ago that I would rather take a couple of days off from reselling and sourcing and everything else to have a peace of mind knowing where my items are and set up a SKU system. I would recommend doing that sooner before later, because it will turn into an absolute disaster. And nothing is worth spending a half an hour looking for a $7 item, and then you can't find it and issue a refund anywhere, and just ruins your whole day because you wasted all your time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they had some good ones. For me, not necessarily the overbuying, but I think being smarter about listing. And by that, I mean, when I buy these lots, I've been doing very well lotting things up in 2 or 3 items that are $10 items to make a $30 sale versus a $10 sale if they're like items. I think I would have done that sooner. I am not proud of having almost 8,000 listings. I don't having thousands and thousands of listings is not my goal. I want to make thousands and thousands of dollars, but I would prefer to do that with less listings. So I think with lots, rather than overbuying, I think it can be okay if you're doing lots, but I think my downfall was trying to squeeze every last penny out of every last lot. Rather than the stuff that's crappy that's going to take 3 years to sell, putting time and effort into listing it and space into storing it. I think I would evaluate that a little bit closer as a newbie and say, hey, the sell-through rate of this is 10%. It's worth $10. Maybe I should just redonate this. If I didn't have items to lot it with, because a lot of times that stuff, if you lot up 3 or 4 or 5, you can get that sale faster because somebody's getting a deal and you get a good sale and they get the stuff cheap. But for me, I think that would be the big thing, would be not trying to squeeze every last penny out of every lot. Because that's how I ended up with 8,000.
I had that same issue because I was always trying to nickel and dime every single cent I get because to make it worth my time and effort. At what point in time, though, in your reselling career, did you actually change that mindset? Did it actually shift that to
Did
where
like
you are
this
now?
year,
Wow.
which is really, really far into it.
Yeah.
And I think, well, really, I started kind of reevaluating it last year after we were in Phoenix, after talking with Ken Hustleby, because he moves a lot of his at a loss because he knows the whole 80-20 rule, right? Most of those lots, you're going to make your money out of the top 20% of those items, and the 80% is kind of just there. So he moves that 80% at a loss to get rid of it, and then the 20% that's worth the money on the top, he puts the time and effort into. So I think after talking with him and like his business model, that kind of got me thinking a little more. And I'm also more particular about the lots I buy, but it's hard for me to say that because when I was just starting out, I was buying dollar lots because I was buying whatever I could afford and I didn't have a lot of capital to do it. But I think I really would have allotted some of that stuff up in the beginning versus like thinking I needed to list every single item by itself and end up with 8,000 items, so yeah, really like just the last year that I've find it's hard when you like, I would think most people's natural tendency is you want to make as much money from a buy as you can, but it's realizing that your time is worth more than the money than a lot of those items might bring you is the hard part.
And that comes in when you're looking at offers too. If you're one that takes offers of, sometimes you want to get that top dollar out of it, but how many times have we gotten the offer that we turned down, and then like 6 months later we still have that item? Yeah, you have to look at it sometimes and go, how widely popular is this item, or is this the one guy in the next 6 to 8 months that's actually interested in it?
Yeah. Or if you counter an offer, if it's a decent offer, you want to get a couple more dollars out of it.
Right.
I mean,
is it worth losing it for $5?
Exactly. Because half the time you do, right? They almost let that expire, that counter offer. So, yeah.
That happened to me this morning. I did that. But I will tell you, one of the biggest mistake I make, I bought this like special edition, like Disney doll from a private pick. I was doing this private pick. I bought all this like merchandise and I paid like $500 for this doll, but I think retailed for like $800. And then one just sold on eBay probably like months prior to that for like $1,500, $2,000. And it's within the first hour of me listing it, I had it up for like $1,500. Someone sent me an offer for $1,000. I would have made a $400 profit right off the top. But because of the first hour, and I saw that one comp for months ago, I decided to send them a counter. They didn't buy it. And here I am over a year later, I still have this damn doll. And, I could have, that's $600 I have tied up now in inventory that I would literally take a loss on this item right now just to get it gone because I want my money back. And, so that's a great point you two are making on that.
Yeah. All right. Wolfman's Goodies said we sell 500 a week, #reality reselling, but $1 into 12 is 1,200% profit. Mm-hmm. Like if it's just you, like I would do $1 into 10 or 15 all day long if it was just me. My business model has changed. It has grown over the years. I have employees. So my bottom line had to change. I still will do some $1 into 15s. I try not to go below the 15 and my goal is 25, but you can make a lot of money $1 into 12 over and over and over. It adds up. It really does. And especially if it's fast. If it's fast sales, I would do it all day long. $1 into 10, like easy. All right.
I do that stuff in my booth, especially like all the time. I sell a lot of low dollar things because they pile up. That pays your rent.
Yeah. No. It definitely adds up. And the nice thing is once you get to a point where you're able to mix in those higher dollar sales, then one sale in a day makes your day. It might even make your week. This, I need to look. This week, we have had quite a few high, a couple of $100, $200 sales. And so this week I'm at 3,900. I'm almost at 4,000 for this week because every day we've had one item for $100, $200. And then we have those lower bread and butter sales along with them. So you just keep adding in, more and more high dollar items like the goal is like this week for me, you know, I'm good at the 4,000. I really want to hit 5 where I'm at 20,000 for a month, but 4,000 is great. Like we've been doing only 20 to 2,500 a week. So like that's very, very improved for us. It's just getting enough high dollar thrown into that mix, you know, with the bread and butter. For me, you know, some people only do bread and butter and some only do high dollar, but you know, it's what works for you. What are we doing? Oh, let's do the eagle since I kept forgetting it. Here you go. Yay. All right. Miss Elena, Treasure Diva Thrift says, I have 4 of the same balances. What do you think is the best way? Would you lot a set of 2 or all 4 in one lot?
You know, my interior decorating skills are pretty minimal, so I don't know what buying those want to do with it. Just as me, I think I would probably list it as a quantity listing. And then you can give a discount for buying multiples. So 10% off if you buy 2, 15 if you buy 3, you know, whatever it is, and try to encourage people to buy more than one. That's how I think I would do it, but I don't know if that's the best answer.
Yeah, I wasn't even 100% sure what a balance was, if it's a curtain rod or what that actually is. But I was thinking multi-quantity 2 or multi-quantity of lots of 2. Let the people choose if they want 2 or 4.
Well, Keith, thank you very much, buddy, because I'm over here Googling it, so I'm glad I'm not the only one on the panel. I didn't know what this was. All right.
Yeah.
So it was back me, my bachelor days. I just throw sheets over top of there, and that was my curtain. So I don't know. I'm going to pass on the cat.
I agree with Keith and Troy. I would do 2 and quantity of 2, because you don't know if somebody they might like those balances for a room that has a single window and then they wouldn't want 4. So typically with balances, for those of you that do not know, 2 go on a curtain. And so 2 cover 1 window. So I would do them in lots of 2. And let them. So if they had 2 windows in the room, they could buy the 2 sets of 2. And if a person with 1 window bought it first, then the person with 2 windows is out of luck. That's what I would do. All right. Patty wants to know, is there a way to search for duplicate listings on LP? I seem to have about 600 more listings that are on eBay, not counting sold. So yes. So what you want to do is go to your List Perfectly catalog, and you can actually sort it by the title in ascending or descending. And then you'll just scroll and look, because your titles, you'll see that there's 2 there, and you can delete one of them. I had to do that because my mother copied some things 3 times into my catalog when my mom was helping me. And I don't think we got through our whole one, but yeah, so that's what I would do. This is a really, really good question. Sarah sells smalls by the seashore, but she doesn't live by the seashore. Do you think having a YouTube channel helps or hurts your sales?
I think for the vast majority of people with YouTube channels, it probably hurts. You know, just because, you know, especially now that I have a booth and I'm spending a couple of days a week working at the store and I'm stocking the booth, and it really sort of accentuates the fact that whatever time you put into one thing, you're taking out of all the other stuff. So, you know, running the YouTube channel, that takes a lot of time. That's time you could otherwise be sourcing or listing or, you know, whatever else with your reselling. So I think there's a handful where they get enough viewer sales that it makes an impact.
I'm a little picker.
But yeah. Kevin. Well, that's because he also has indentured servants and, you know, slave labor. Mm-hmm. But I think for most of us, it's neutral or hurts, you know, if anything.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it helps me. I have a small enough channel. There's not much in the way of viewer sales, but I try to make sure it doesn't hurt me, because first thing I do in the morning when I'm having my morning coffee is at least list 10 things every day to make sure I'm focusing at least on that reselling before I do anything else of the day. And then I can do editing or do my full-time job after that. But so I make sure it doesn't hurt me. Probably hurts a bit, but not much.
So I have a moderately okay size YouTube channel, and I would say it's it hurts me more than it helps me, I would say, just for the fact that, yes, I make money from my YouTube channel, but I can make a lot more money if I just didn't have a YouTube channel, if I just source full time.
Mm-hmm.
And if I sourced and listed full time, I would probably make thousands of dollars more per month. Just the fact that I could be listing much, because I have 3 YouTube channels. I have my picking, punching, flipping and punching, and I have a card channel. And I do a lot of stuff. But for me, it gives me a mental break, and I like helping the community, and I like building community. Now I'm not sure if you're asking, the question is, by having channels that are hurting or helping us from that aspect because it's taking away time from listing. If you're wondering if it helps get viewer sales to help boost your store, do I get viewer sales? Yes, but they're few and far between. I would say 95% of my sales come from just regular people that have no idea I'm even on YouTube, to be honest with you. So, and then I do have some repeat buyers that are loyal customers that do come into my store that watch my channel, but those are few and far between. I would say having a YouTube channel would help out your whatnot or live selling more than it would help out anything else. So live selling, yes, because you can have funnel people directly that would like to watch your channel, want to see you there, interact with you, just like each and every one of you guys come to this chat to interact with us and be able to ask us questions. We're answering. You're having a conversation with us. You can do that same thing with live selling, but also too is like even like Kat has 100,000 people, and your whatnots will have 100 people max sometimes. Not even. So like it's like if you break down the numbers on that, it's less than 1% that are going to her whatnot to actually support it. I ran a whatnot before the show, and I didn't have more than 30 people in my whatnot. I still had a successful whatnot show, but I mean, I had people that came over and said that in the comments. They liked watching my videos and stuff like that. So I knew that they watched my YouTube channel. They knew me from there. But at the end of the day, does it help out? It probably hurts me more than it helps me, but I need that to get me through my mentally and to help me disconnect from reselling, but still have reselling. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm going to answer this, and then I'm going to throw a comment up from Facebook. Overall, I think it hurts. And I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to explain. So Candy says, I've yet to see a reseller say it helps, yet when you view the feedback of content creators, it shows they get business from it. But I have less than 10% of people leave feedback. Guess who's going to leave it? Yeah. My viewers are going to leave it because they know it helps me. The average person is not going to. So I would say that's probably pretty skewed. I would say, and I'm not saying it doesn't help at all, but one of the things, like I have
Kat, we didn't hear one word you just said. You're underwater, or you're stuck like a robot, and your face is frozen. Switch your internet. You need to switch your internet. Okay. While she's doing that, one thing I will say is that on the reverse side of things, and you guys now I would say the biggest takeaway I would say from a lot of us when it comes to YouTube is the networking. The networking is the biggest takeaway, because without that, I would have met some other resellers that I know. I would have been able to accelerate my business faster without having YouTube, because I learn from each and every one of you guys. I learn from other people in the community. I learn from comments I get from my YouTubers. I keep learning. So that's the biggest one. Number 2 is I get leads now for private picks, for places to go sourcing, because of the networks I built from YouTube. So that part has definitely helped out my business. Does that answer or equal to more sales? Probably not, but at the end of the day, it helps me get sourcing our product. So yes, that was a big aspect of it. I mean, just because of YouTube, I met Kat. Kat is now a professional box seller, because I've hooked up with boxes. She was listing boxes. She made a contact on her own because of that. And there's a snowball effect that happens from YouTube. But I would say that's probably the biggest takeaway on there. But go ahead, Kat. What were you saying?
Okay, so I have 11,000 followers on my eBay store. So I have tons of eyes on it that click into items that do not buy them. So my click-through rate and my sell-through rate is crap, which hurts me in the algorithm. eBay is going to think people don't want to buy my stuff. But the reality is people are being nosy because they watch me on here, which is okay. That's okay, but I guarantee you that's hurting me in the algorithm. Guarantee you it is, because I get so many clicks, because I have so many followers, because they're watching what I list. They want to see what I sell. They want to see what it sold for. That is a negative aspect for me that I'm not complaining about, but I want to make sure everybody sees kind of all of the aspects of this, right? If you get a ton of clicks and nobody buys, eBay doesn't like that.
Yeah.
It's
Also,
not good.
Kat,
And if you get more sales from it, like say you get picking a number 5 sales a week because they're viewers and they wanted to buy something from you. What is that? You got to balance it, right? Like on the scale. So you got 5 more, but what more could you have done if you didn't do the YouTube at all? You would have sourced more. You would have listed more. Maybe
and
you
my
make 10 more sales.
Probably would have been better without 11,000 people following me.
Right. This is a great follow-up question. I want the whole panel to answer this one here.
Hold on, I gotta finish answering.
Oh, sorry, you can finish answering. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, so mine are probably about 5%, which is very low. Hopefully Candy will see once I came back. So it's very, very low in the grand scheme of things. So people are like, oh, you get all these sales because you're on YouTube. No bullshit. Right. And I'm not going to censor my mouth here. I get it because I list 30 to 50 items a friggin' day. Tell me you're doing that and then you'll get the sales I get. I put in probably 12 hours a day into my business, if not more. So for me, it makes me mad to hear you're getting these sales because you're on YouTube. Again, BS. Yeah. I was making over $100,000 a year on eBay before I had a YouTube channel. Where would I be? I guarantee you my eBay would be higher if I wasn't doing YouTube right now. Yeah. Do I care? No. Do I make money on YouTube? Yes. Do I like helping people? Yes. Do I regret any of it? Absolutely not. But I feel like a lot of people want to blame their failure on us and say that we're doing well because we're content creators. Right. And I think if you look at, there are some content creators that I bet 50% or more of their sales are to viewers. I am not one. Rod is not one. You have to look at who because you might have somebody, they're picking up stuff just for their viewers. I don't do that. I buy what will sell. I buy what I like a little too much. But so for me, that's what frustrates me. Does it help? Yes. But I think if you look at the giant picture of things, it hurts. Because if we weren't on here, we would have grown our business. Like, again, my click-through rate would be a lot better as far as sales, because it would be people that actually want the items clicking at it, not just people that are being nosy. So, like, yeah, no, she said she's not failing. She admires us. And I'm not saying her that her comment was like that, but we do get those comments. That say, oh, you're showing all this stuff and, oh, you're only doing this good because you're on YouTube. No. Like I said, I think the majority of us that are full-time put in more hours than most of you could even imagine. Yeah. Listen, okay, I didn't even tell you guys. So if you didn't see on Instagram, Mark OGNZ and I went thrifting earlier today. I was down in the Orlando area. I posted a pic of me and Mark up on Instagram. Mark bought one thing. And I bought a whole friggin' cart full. one pair of shoes Mark bought. I had a whole cart. So like, it's hard though, because we're putting all this time into YouTube. We're putting all this time into all of this different stuff, and we're pulled in 20 different directions.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
This is a great follow-up question, Kat. And I think this goes right where you're about to say. So let's put this up. Says, if something's hurting your business, why are we doing it all then? And this is for everyone on the panel. I think this is an absolute great question, because we all talk about how YouTube can hurt our business. So, Troy, why are you doing it then?
Yeah, I mean, I and it's funny because I completely understand how it sounds, but I started because I wanted to help people. Like, I have a buddy that taught me reselling that lives 3 blocks away, and reselling, I started it to pay off my student loans because we were making minimum payments and it was getting nowhere, which is how it's kind of designed. I cut 10 years off of making minimum payment student loans because of reselling. It was what I found to like, hey, maybe I can make a couple extra $100 a month was the idea. And it obviously blew up bigger than that. I had a guy that I sat in his basement while we watched football, and he taught me, we set up a Poshmark account, and he showed me how to list things, and we would go. He literally took me and showed me how to go retail arbitrage. He took me into stores one time. We went to like 8 stores one day, and he's like, here's what you would look for. Here's how you do this. I mean, he taught me everything. It changed my financial life and my family's financial life. I wanted to be able to help somebody because most people don't have somebody living 3 blocks away from them that can do that. And so I thought, you know what? I know a little bit. I want to try and help people learn how to do this, and then I've had people here locally say, hey, thank you. I learned you picked up this thing. I found it at a garage sale. I was able to make my rent payment this month because of that item. Helped us pay our rent. We didn't know where it was going to come from. We learned that from you. That's a big deal. And so that's honestly, that's why I do it. I mean, I have fun doing it. I enjoy it. And I enjoy the connection with viewers and with other creators. But the base of the pyramid was I wanted to help other people.
Yeah, so for me, it's part that part. I feel like I do have a lot of knowledge on antique sports equipment and sports history, so I try to teach in a lot of my videos, especially the podcast, a bit. But also for me, it's really therapeutic. Having some anxiety issues when you pop the earphones on, you're editing, you're working on your thumbnails. That's like pretty relaxing for me, and just I'm a creative person. It gives me a creative outlet. So that's the main reason I do it, for that being a therapeutic thing for me.
I'll be completely honest with you. For me, one is when I first started reselling, I didn't have someone there to help me. I taught myself how to eBay. I was in high school in the 90s teaching myself how to eBay, and I would have all these packages being sent to my house, and I'm literally running to the post office. I'm not kidding, in line with 30 packages where I had to handwrite everything, and no one taught me how to do that. I had to teach myself, and it was a tough road, Look, I didn't have a smartphone to look up comps. I had to teach myself, learning the books and knowledge and networking, and so many people, people that struggle throughout life. And I just, my dad was a factory worker. My mom was, she worked as a lunch lady at her school and a waitress, just for the fact that she could be with us. And so I grew up getting hand-me-downs. I didn't grow up with a lot of stuff. My parents did the best that they could for us. And I always want to be able to make sure that I can always support my family and always have a way to not rely on a job. And I always hear all those horror stories from everyone else. So I got into reselling to do that. But at the same point in time it changed my life, because me reselling helped me, was a matter of me just buying some stuff that I liked, or to support, so I had beer money in college, or money to go out or to get food or help put myself to college. And then it grew to, hey, I'm not making a lot of money because I'm in college, I'm getting a job, and I want to supplement my income. And that supplement my income surpassed my full-time job. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And if I can do that, so many other people are struggling, and I try to teach and I try to help as many people as possible. I got into YouTube because I needed a creative outlet. I was doing professional wrestling there for a while. I was very creative. I got to perform. I got to entertain. And when I stopped doing that after COVID, I missed that. And I always wanted to do that. And I would say deep down inside, I always felt I was meant to do something bigger, something more. And I always had that in me. And reselling just felt so natural. YouTube felt so natural, and I loved entertaining. Now, yes, does it hurt my business? Yes. Does it take time away from it? Does it take time away from my family? Yes. At the end of the day, though, I look at the bigger picture. I'm networking. Some of my best friends are now from YouTube. I'm able to go places, travel places I never have to because of my business. YouTube has opened up a lot more doors. So I'm looking at YouTube as a long-term alternative to what I'm currently doing. I'm never going to stop reselling, but as YouTube grows, maybe it grows down the line where I'm making a full-time income from it. Maybe it turns into sponsorships. Maybe it turns into something else down the line. The ceiling, there is no ceiling when it comes to YouTube and doing online like this as there is a reselling. I can only list and buy and store so many items at my house, my storage and thing, without hiring employees or growing. I can put one video, it could go viral, and that can be just a game changer and open up many, many doors. So at the end of the day, I love doing the possibility of there's something bigger out there with it. If it comes, it doesn't matter, because I'm not in it for the money. I can care less about that. I like being able to help people, and I like being able to build a community around me. And now if I need something, I reach out I can literally post a video and say, hey, whoever in Florida wants this stuff, I need to move it right now. I'd probably have 10, 15 people that reach out to me. Hey, yeah, where you at? Let's go. Let's get this. That's more valuable than me being able to list an extra $500 a week or $1,000 a week, because that's going to play out for longevity of my channel, not just right now what's selling.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I probably am making the most from YouTube as far as people on the panel. I have a good income from YouTube. So it's hurting my eBay business, but it's now another business. You know, like Rod was saying, it can grow. 2022, I made the most on YouTube because of a viral video, just like he was talking about my teacup video. I've never in my YouTube career seen that much before or after that video. I will tell you that did not happen again. I wish it did. It has not thus far, but the potential's there. And I think the big thing for me after quitting nursing is helping, just like I think everybody said, like I was watching what sold videos. That's how I gain knowledge. That's how I learn more things to pick up to increase my income. And I wanted to share what I learned. And like when I do my research videos, I'm learning at the same time. That's not necessarily stuff I know before I make these videos for you. Like I'm learning it along with you when I'm showing you and telling you. And like the panel show, like we've been going over 4 years now, every Tuesday night doing this. And a lot of the questions are very, very similar. And like Rod and I talked when he first started co-hosting, like, do we want to step it up, you know, and change it and do like more advanced questions? And it came back to no, like we still have 400 to 500 people in here every Tuesday that are watching. And there are always new sellers, right? There are some of you that keep coming back, even though you hear the same question over and over every week. And we do get different ones, you know, it is different every week, but a lot of them are similar because there's always going to be new sellers. So I think the thing for me and like some of the most touching things is people sharing stories of how watching me help them get out of a really bad situation where they couldn't pay their bills and now they're going on vacations. And so when I quit nursing, like I was doing nursing to help people. It was also a good income. And this is helping people too. And it is a decent income for me. I do very, very well from YouTube. Nothing has touched. I'm like having 2022 blues. Nothing has touched that viral video year. But like Rod and I don't know that we've talked about this on the podcast yet. It is out now on Instagram. Rod and myself both will be speaking at Boss Reseller Remix in Las Vegas in March. So tickets go on sale December 1st, and we will definitely have ticket information for you guys if you want to come hang out in Vegas with us. Dalton and Brooke will be with me. Both the kids will be with me. So yeah,
will be with me. So
yeah,
the wife is coming. Yeah. And that goes just what we were just talking about. Like my wife has never been to Las Vegas. She is now going to be part of going travel to Las Vegas with me. And
Brooke hasn't either.
It's literally a week before our anniversary. So we're going to go down a couple of days earlier and celebrate our anniversary in Las Vegas. So probably not the city of sin, probably not the best place to celebrate an anniversary, but, you know,
why not?
When in doubt, right? When in Rome. That's. So.
I think one thing that's worth pointing out is at the end of the day, like I think a lot of people related to like what we were talking about before of does it help your business? If you start a YouTube channel with the idea of I'm going to start a YouTube channel because I want to make more money, whether it's off of YouTube or on eBay, it's not going to work. Like you can't fake it. At some point, people are going to see through. You have to be you on YouTube. And if the only reason you start it is to sell more on eBay or to hopefully make $1 million off of YouTube, odds are it's going to fail. And you're just wasting time.
I'm going to add to that. If you guys, all four of us made a comment and all four explained why we did it and why we continue to do it and with the pros and cons. Not one person on this panel said that we do it for the money or the reason why we started to do it. And that's key. And I want to take that away. Because
we didn't make money for a very long time when we started doing this. We did this for free. I was putting in 40 to 50 hours a week into YouTube for a year without making a penny.
We're supposed to make money off of YouTube.
what?
It causes us more stress, more anxiety, but at the end of the day, though, it's also a mental escape, and I can't explain that. Where something
and it's a community. Like, this is a lonely job.
Yeah.
Like, you have a community. Even when I had like 100 subscribers, people are watching and commenting, and they're my friends, you know. And like, you guys, when you get to meet us in person, you'll see we are exactly the same people. You're not going to see me made up like this most of the time, unless I can bring Shannon with me to Vegas. I'm not going to look like this. Maybe I'll learn by March. But like, we're the exact same people that you're seeing. Like, it's not like we're putting on an act. We're not putting on a show. We're not here. I mean, I guess we are entertaining you in a way, but our main purpose of the majority of this is education. You know, we're here to teach you, we're here to help you, but it's also the community. And I have forgot a lot of super chats, and he is going to think I did it on purpose, and I did not. Leroy. Leroy sent a $2 super chat and said it wouldn't be his first time paying for feedback. So y'all better watch out. I'm going to like get tipsy one night, and I'm going to go buy. I'm going to be like, who should I buy from? Then I can extort you. Don't record this, because then you can send it to eBay. I have to give Leroy Kevin. I have to do it.
You two were just waiting for that moment, weren't you? That's just
no. I've been waiting for this moment all night. Mark sent his $5 late fee. What time did he send it? 9:10. You were a minute early, buddy. A minute early. All right. Mark always gets Rod. So here you go.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.
Okay, I waited all night to do it.
That's my gimmick. You can't steal my gimmick, Kat.
But I have an octopus.
Gimmick infringement.
For those of you that weren't in here earlier, there is the front of him. He's upside down. It's okay. He's pretty cool. I like him. I'm like, I talk about the tattoo, and I'm like, really, I like all of it. And I'm like, I guess I should. Like, it's there forever. I guess I should like it. All right. See, I told you guys I missed these super chats. Carrie's Paradise Vintage sent a $10 super chat and said she found out yesterday when you sell over $10,000 a year on Etsy, you're automatically enrolled in offsite ads at 12% for the life of your store with no ability to opt out. What do you think of this? Whether you sell on Etsy or not, she just gave you the facts. What are your thoughts on that?
I tried to sell on Etsy and I didn't do well, and I moved on. I don't know. I hate being forced into something. But since I promote on eBay because I think it works, you know, I source at a low enough that I can afford a few percentage to move things quicker. So I think if you maybe bump your items up 1 or 2%, if it doesn't screw up the comps with other people selling the same thing, and that should help cover it. I mean, hopefully you're making more sales to cover that 12% as a result. And at worst, it's a wash. So hopefully it works out. I don't love being forced into something like that, but I don't know that it's the worst thing either.
Yeah, I sell a lot on Etsy. It's one of my second biggest platform I sell on. And when they first started that, I think that was a couple years ago, I remember getting that notification. That it bothered me a bit that it wasn't an option. Like if you were a certain level, they automatically did that. But it does drive a different group of buyers to my store, like gift givers, and I guess it's worthwhile. That, you know, the advertising is nice to get people to your store. So it is what it is. Part of the situation over there. It doesn't bother me too much now.
I don't sell on Etsy, so pass.
I said she gave the facts. No,
you don't get the facts, Rod.
I don't sell that much on Etsy. And I don't think I've hit the 10,000 a year on Etsy to be enrolled. I haven't got that message. I wouldn't want to be forced into anything either, but I don't think I would be so mad as to stop selling on there. I might be huffy and puffy about it. And I might even like start bumping my Etsy prices up 10%. So I could kind of offset it, but I believe it's just like promoted, like you're not charged the 12% unless it sells from an offsite ad. Is that right?
That's what I believe. Yeah, I think it has to be, an item sold from a Google ad or whatever it would be. Yeah. So
And mainly that's what the offsite ads is Google. So your 12% goes into Etsy's Google AdSense account to pay for advertising. All right. I got to give her something. Okay, let's do, what are we doing? I did the whale already. Let's do this one. Rocks to be me. I told you guys I miss super chats. Rocks to be me sent $4.99 and said, I'm sure grateful for what you do. You all motivate, support, and teach the community. Thank you. You're welcome. I think that's like the main reason behind the majority of us. Like, we want to teach people. We want to help people. Like, are we going to argue if we make money? No. Like, who would, but the main driving factor there is helping people.
I think everyone who has some type of following on YouTube has thought about one point in time about quitting multiple times over, and then you get that one comment or that one viewer that says something to you, and it just stops you in your track, and you're like, wow, this is why I do what I do, and then you continue forward. Because I know it's happened to me multiple times, and I'm sure I see everyone else.
I quit making videos on my second channel for almost a year, and then finally went back. And sometimes we do have to step away. It can get overwhelming, and it's okay to step away. Sometimes the algorithm sure as heck slaps our hand when we do so, but we have to do what's best for our mental stability as well, because we need to be able to bring you guys the best version of us, I feel like. And I also think it's good to be transparent too, like when we are having a hard time. I don't know how many of you remember Lot of Josh. He really talked about it. Like, YouTube can be extremely stressful. It can tear you down.
It's easy to get burned out, for sure.
It is. It's very easy to get burned out. It's very easy to look at your views, see your views down, see you're not getting as many subscribers. Like, it is more of a roller coaster than eBay.
Big, yeah.
And we drop videos, they tell us what number of 10, and if you drop 9 of 10s right in a row, you're like, what the heck am I, what am I doing wrong?
If you guys don't know what Kat's talking about, is when we come out with a video on YouTube ranks your last 10 videos, and based on the amount of viewers in that same amount of time. So you can put your heart and soul into a video and put 4 or 5, 6 hours into a video, and it comes out at 10, and to the same video that you rush and put out and only spend an hour on it, and that other video is a 1, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? I put so much time.
It's always the worst ones that do the best.
Yeah, it's weird.
It happens. It is very weird. All right, what am I doing? I'm doing this one. Here you go. Thank you. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I think that was all of the super chats. If we missed your super chat, please tell me. Oh, I missed a member. If you guys do not know, I do have membership. I do live listing reviews. We did those last week. We do live sourcing. We're doing that this Saturday, and live shipping every other Monday. We did that yesterday too. Nobody came in. Me and Prissy were all by ourselves. So come join us over there. I had to put this up because I had to show my sea turtle. Here you go. Gino, are you here? I need to know if Gino is here. Did he go to bed? I know he's kind of old.
Kind of.
He might be at one of those parties in the villages.
Yeah, upside down Kevin party.
With somebody in the chat's mom, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Leroy wants to know, how do you not let family issues and mental health interfere with your reselling business?
I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
Oh, he's there. Wait, stop. Don't answer yet. Even though it's really serious. Gino, Charlene just messaged me and said I need an octopus super chat. That's your new mission. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I don't know that you do. Leroy. Like, I mean, it's hard to separate, right? Like, and sometimes that's why you need a break from something. And usually it's YouTube, right? At least for me, YouTube is the one that takes the break if I need to take a breath and sit on the couch for a day and just do nothing. List 5 things and then call it a day. I'm somebody that does deal with anxiety, and I have for a long time. Only in the last probably 2 years have I actually, now I take medication and I actually do better with that. It took me a long time to finally admit, like, okay, maybe. And my wife told me I'm a moron. Like, if you take a pill and it makes your life better, is that not a good thing? That's not saying medication is the solution for everything, but that plus I've got my Peloton, and I can get on that for however long and not think about anything else but being there in that moment. That really helps, doing that most days. So I think you have to find things that can do that for you, whether it's watching a TV show or listening to an album, or, for me, it's exercising. You find things that just, you don't have to focus on anything else. You're not thinking about your reselling business. I think that's key, because with my anxiety, if I'm thinking about the ups and downs of YouTube and the ups and downs of eBay and the ups and downs of my physical location, it drives me nuts. And so you have to take time for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I said a little bit earlier, but I have anxiety as well, like Troy. And that's one of the ways I deal with it. Just really throw myself into YouTube and reselling. And I find it therapeutic. It's an escape, whether it's worries of my job or whatever it would be, right? That's an escape for me. And it's a beneficial escape when it comes to reselling and family issues. I mean, I more recently, my wife's been involved in my reselling business with me, and it sort of made us a little closer working as a team and listing and photographing stuff, shipping together. So I feel like you can use that to build relationships stronger by bringing them into the business a bit.
So it's a tough one because, I feel like your reselling business can lead to a lot of mental issues and can lead to family issues more than anything. And I will say I ran into one when me and my wife first started dating, where I started buy out massive collections as I was expanding my business. I had a townhome I owned, and it was just me. And then she moved in with her stepson, and now I had more people in the house, and now I couldn't just put stuff anywhere because I would have massive lot fill the garage, and fill my spare room, and the next thing you know, it's taking over the living room, and it was tough for her mental health at that time, and that's why, so sometimes you have to first off need to separate house and business from each other. That's one thing I definitely learned. So for me, it was worth me spending $200-300 a month to get a storage unit to have the mental break that it gave to my family. So you have to separate the two. Sometimes that having a separate workplace to go to, even if it's a coffee shop to bring your laptop to work, or your phone to sit there and list, sometimes that you separate that from your house, and it gives you a mental break. Also, too, you need to find what makes yourself happy. You have to do things for yourself. I am the breadwinner in my home. I'm the one who takes care of the kid. My wife works. So because I have the freedom in what I do, what I love, I am also taking on a lot more responsibility where my wife's restricted because she has to work at a hospital. She can't get up and leave whenever she wants. I can leave whenever I want and work whenever I want. So, that puts a lot of extra stress on me, I would say, and anxiety, because even though I have that freedom, I take on a lot more responsibility. So there are things with reselling that does cause more anxiety and stress, but at the same point in time is I want to have the other way. So I would say deep down inside, Leroy, you need to find things that you need to do for yourself that gives you escape. It could be collecting sports cards, going to the gym, working out, go for a run, pop on your headphones, just go for a walk. You need to do things to give yourself a mental break. It could be playing with your pets. Whatever you do.
It's Leroy. He'll be cleaning grease off of a wrench.
Yeah, that's true. You can go grab some Craftsman wrenches and whatever, you grind them down, whatever you do, clean them up. That's what you do. But I would just say for everyone out there, you have to find something that makes you happy and it gives you an escape. That's the biggest things. And if you can find something that works well for your health, like physical exercise, I'm huge on, because one is you're doing stuff that's going to benefit your health, but also too, it helps release stress and endorphins. Yes. And it helps you sleep better. It's to get you better health, and a lot of other benefits to it.
So I'm going to tell you a healthy answer and a not so healthy answer, and both of them are true for me. So if you guys didn't see the video, I was going through a divorce for months, didn't tell you guys anything. You had no clue. I was still making videos, did not go public with it until it was final. And for that, I box stuff up. That is one of my way of coping. Box it up, don't think about it, and do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I can do that healthily. A lot of people cannot. I've talked to my doctor about this. That is one of my ways of coping, is like, it goes in a box and the box goes away.
Compartmentalization. I'm very good at that.
If you want to see me on my deathbed, please do not, because it's probably going to be very nasty, because I've done that my whole life. That is just how I deal. So that is a very unhealthy way, but it works for me. It definitely does not work for a lot of people. But I will tell you, like, I don't do counseling, but I have several good friends that probably wish I would shut up sometimes, because I tell them everything and I trust them. So they're like my free therapists. And I know that a couple of them are in the chat right now. So thank you to those of you that are. And healthy wise, for a year now, I go to the gym minimum 3 times a week, a lot of times 5 days, and sometimes 7 days a week. I love the gym. I love popping in my headphones. It sounds like a 1990s rap booty music club in my head when I'm at the gym, with a little bit of country thrown in. And that definitely, like, I'm very high anxiety as well. I'm very high stress, very type A. Like, I could take something tiny and be like, "Rah!" Anybody that knows me in person knows that. If you know me in person, like, I'm sure Rod has probably picked up on that. Like, and I used to be that way about returns and feedback. I've learned to let that go. It used to be like a bad feedback would mess me up for days. Like, I would be miserable for days over a bad feedback. I don't do that anymore. It doesn't bother me at all anymore. So definitely the physical activity, boxing it up for me, like, you have to find something to be able to make money. Like, if that's your income, you've got, like, and like, you've got to get it done. And if that means you need counseling, if that means you need medication, you need to be strong enough to know what help you need. Like Aaron was saying, meds are a tool. And I know a lot of resellers have done like mental health shows, because this is a very lonely profession. It can be very stressful with the ups and downs, and mental health is like super, super important. Oh, I'm already there, Patty. I'm already there. It's not fun. But like, I think you got to figure out what works for you. Like, we're telling you what works for us. And whether it's the physical activity, whether it's getting out in nature, whether it's jamming to music, a lot of people, it's music. Like, a lot of people, music does it, you know? When I was going through like a lot of really hard times, I started listening to the motivational speakers. I started listening to Mel Robbins. I started listening to Tony Robbins. I love Steve Harvey. And I listened to motivational speakers 24 hours a day. And it really helped like my state of mind. And it actually helped me be more productive, them telling me to get off my, you know what, and do what I needed to do, you know? So, yeah, I mean,
and you touched on it, Kat, but I think you mentioned how it can be lonely. I mean, I think that's sort of the other end. A lot of us have talked about like the anxiety part of it, but reselling by its very nature can be a very solo enterprise. You know, you're sitting by yourself. I've got my dog around, but during the day, that's it. Right. And then you go sourcing and you're by yourself with other people around. You're by yourself in a crowd. And so I think finding ways to connect with other people is important. Even if you're like me and you're not necessarily a people person, I get worn out in crowds. But you can do that through stuff like this, through YouTube. You're in the chat. you're interacting with other human beings. And I think finding a way to do that is important. That's why some of these live shows and watching some of the YouTube stuff, I think that's why that's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. Sandy says she just got a message from a buyer wanting to know if she can get the item to her by Thanksgiving. How would she do that? So, I mean, we're what now 9 days away from Thanksgiving.
I mean, if they're international, you're in trouble. But if they're generally, when people say I need this by fill in the blank, I tell them like, priority is 2 to 3 days generally. So it should be okay. But that's USPS, and I can't guarantee any delivery date. So I try to tell them, look, this is when I would expect it to be there, but I'm not going to tell you 100% because then they're going to say when it doesn't show up that it's your fault. They're going to want to return. They're going to do all of that. So I mean, I would tell them that it's probably okay because you have enough business days that it should be fine, but you can't guarantee the Postal Service.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would tell them, look, I'll do my part. I'll ship it immediately today, tomorrow, whenever, depending on when that order comes in. But beyond that, the post office doesn't guarantee priority mail or ground advantage. So you should be fine, but can't guarantee it.
Same thing what they just said.
Yeah, I agree. It should, like, even with ground advantage right now, it should be fine. But I would probably recommend they up it to priority just to have a little more guarantee and tell them, what everybody else said. Like, I'll get it out tomorrow, but I can't. The only guarantee would be overnight. And that's not even a guarantee. I had somebody guarantee it. They guarantee it. And if they don't get it there, they refund your shipping, which I had happen because they didn't get it there. So I got my $60 I paid back, but the item did not get there. So even that is not a true guarantee. Patty wants to know if anyone here uses Deal Soldier, and if so, what is your honest opinion of it?
Maybe I'm under a rock. I don't know what it is, so I will pass.
I've never heard of it either, to be honest. I'm interested if anyone else has, but never heard of it.
So what Deal Soldier is one of those retail arbitrage, like almost like a Discord group, which they let you know about like Walmart and other stores when they're cutting sales and pricing ears and stuff like that. I would say those can be good. You have to find the right Deal Soldier. There's a half a dozen out there. I mean, there's dozens of those out there that do this, similar things. But what it is you have to pay subscription for it. It's usually like $30-$40 a month or $50, whatever it is. And then what they do, they give you instant notifications as soon as stuff is either there's an error with pricing or the items are discounted across the websites. And that doesn't always mean that you'll get those discounts or those error pricings because first off, you have to act on those usually right away. Secondly, some of those errors and those discounts don't apply to the stores in your area. They will apply to other stores. So just be on the lookout for that. During a while back, I used to get pricing discounts for like video games and stuff like that. And I paid 4 cents for video games at Walmart. And I have bought stuff at stores where, they had big pricing errors and stuff like that, but it's very competitive. There's a lot of people that do it and you got to be fast acting. And once you do that, you have to list those items right away to try to flip it. Because if you're trying to do it, there is 1,000 other people doing the same exact thing. So a lot of times when you get those items right away, if you don't list them right away, time you go to list them, if you wait a week or so like that, the market has already been flooded and you could get stuck with those items. So you got to be very careful with it. I don't say it's not a bad thing. I know J-Rye does it. He's in one of those, and he's in a couple of those groups, but it's not for me the way I want to source. I think that's something that when people are going to be sourcing directly for a lot of retail arbitrage, that is something that's going to be more beneficial to them, more or less to someone who just want to do like part-time and stuff like that. But if part of your business model is a big portion of his retail arbitrage, they could be a benefit to you.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with it, and I don't do a ton of retail arbitrage. And Squirrely Reseller reminded me, she wants to see Rod again. She's sending another late fee for Mark so we can see Rod again. Then I get to show you my octopus again. Here we go.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.
Ready?
I have to make a new one for me.
Without the punch. Now I need a punch.
No, you can't steal my gimmick, Kat. I keep telling you that. That's my thing. I don't have the punch.
Merchant
I
and
got
punching
nothing.
now, Rod.
But
So-
I got an octopus.
It's not the
I need
nurse
something
puncher.
with my
It could
hand.
be the nurse puncher. I mean, you have been in a rant all night long. Get a tattoo. You're now divorced, so and you are leaking negative feedback. So I guess maybe it might be nurse punching going forward.
I might be. I threaten sometimes.
The Commonwealth Flipper
right.
is now in the house. Everybody, just let you know, the Almighty is now here.
All right. You Go Thrift says, do you use the AI description generator when posting a listing? And what are the pros and cons of using it?
They're all cons. They're just all. It's unnecessary. Like when I read because I shop on eBay a lot, and when I read one, usually I'll just go to the next listing that has that same item because it reads to me like somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. It's a new reseller and there might be issues there. And so, I mean, it's superfluous. There's nothing in there that you actually need. All you got to use the description spot for, to my mind, is pointing out something that's exceptionally great or the flaws.
Yeah, I agree. I've never used it. I've experimented with it just to see what it looked like, and it's like overly flowery and just overly wordy for no reason. I do my own descriptions. Yeah.
I literally copy my title and put it in my description.
Paste.
Unless there's anything errors, if there's any like flaws or something like that, then I'll change it up. But I don't use it.
Yeah.
I just think it's fluff. I've tried in the past, and here we go, Kat.
I am once again going to argue with these three guys. I'm not going to argue. I'm going to differ on opinion. So eBay's AI, I agree with everything they said. List Perfectly's AI Express Lister is not like that. It bullet points. It will put concise facts. You can go look at my eBay listings. Anything in the last 6 months has been created with AI Express Lister, and it's not the overflowy blah 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 blah. It's bullet pointed. It has the facts. You can make it be funny, which I was doing for a while, and then I was like, this is too much. So now we do professional. We did switch off of the very funny that I said I wasn't going to do because it was saying some stuff. Let me tell you, it was saying some stuff. And so List Perfectly's AI Express Lister, which if you guys don't know, creates the listings from photos and it creates the description, is an AI program that was made only for resellers. So it is not some generic blanket AI. Again, like, look, here we go. LaDonna says List Perfectly AI is very good and she's an IT person. I know they spent months developing an AI that was reseller focused that did not look like that BS that you see on eBay's. That is a run-on sentence. And it really is like 10 times a notch above. And I use it, like, I'm not telling you guys, and I don't, that is the only thing I use to create listings. Every day, all of them are created through List Perfectly AI Express Lister. So
did you use that description field before that though? Like yourself, were you writing the description?
I made no. So when eBay came out, I did it because I was like, well, their BS run-on sentence is better than me not putting a description because I would just copy the title.
No. Yeah, that's all
I did no description. So I did use eBay's, but I would delete, like, it seemed like the last two sentences were always like really BS. So I would erase like half of it, but now, like I said, it's bullet pointed, like it'll have the size, the color, where it was made, the brand, and it'll have like 2 sentences about the item. And it really is not like I said, go look at any of my listings that are new in the last 6 months. You'll see what it looks like. And it's impressive. It really is.
I don't think Kevin puts descriptions either. So as long as he doesn't do it, I feel like if the Emperor doesn't do it, then we're probably okay with doing it.
When in Rome.
Yeah.
The King of Bonanza.
Or Virginia,
Bonanza.
Whatever.
I got a Bonanza sale today. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Guys, we got to questions that were submitted at 8. And it is now 9:59. So if you submitted your question 1 minute after the show started, it did not get answered, and I apologize. All right. I am going to put up the super chat, and then I'm going to let Troy and Keith tell you bye, and then Rod myself will tell you what is going on. So Kat said she's here to say thanks for pushing us to keep doing. I don't think anybody on this panel is going anywhere. You definitely are not getting rid of that Commonwealth guy in the chat. He just keeps making more channels, so he's like going more places instead of less. But I think we're all here to stay, and we all appreciate doing it for you. And I have not shown the pillow fight, and I think that's appropriate to show you.
Come on, put Kevin on here. He's in the chat.
Oh, he's in the chat. Okay, fine. Here's Kevin.
That was a mistake. Now he's going to want royalties for it.
1 cent. Okay. He's going to do a ghost channel. See?
He can give it a shot. It's actually it's tough sledding, Kevin. So good luck with it.
All right. I'm going to give you guys Troy and then Keith, and we'll let you know what's going on. Oh, she wanted the kitty cat one. Okay.
No.
Here's the kitty cat one. Got to give it. You made me put up Kevin when they really just want to see a cute cat. Here you go.
I just wanted.
I just cut Troy off.
That's all right.
He gets to be big now, though, so he can tell you everything he wants. Here you go.
I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. Yeah, I will start making YouTube videos again. I promise. Both on my reselling channel and Big Sky Paranormal. We actually have a couple of overnight investigations, ghosty stuff that we did that I've got just to put together. Yeah. So yeah, come check it out. It'll be fun. And I'm selling on Whatnot. So, every Saturday night for the last month, we've been doing Whatnot stuff. So you can come and get stuff from me on there as well.
Perfect. Here's Keith.
Yeah, had a blast hanging out again on the Tuesday night podcast here. Check out my channel, Vintage Sport Flips. It's I put out picking videos every Saturday, sports memorabilia, sports card theme generally, and try to educate a little bit in the videos. And then I have a live podcast Wednesday night that Rod's going to be on with me tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Delve into reselling, sports memorabilia. I have a giveaway every week, and we draft a different topic every week. This week, it's funniest movie scenes. And then my other channel, Rips and Brews, if you're into either beer tasting or card ripping, check me out over there as well.
Perfect. All right, Rod, what's going on?
So before I jump into that, I would say, guys, please subscribe to both these guys' channels. Two of my favorite YouTubers out there, and I love both these guys in the real estate community, so please subscribe to both their channels. They both deserve it, man. For me, I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you guys. Today, I hit my 20,000 subs on YouTube, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without this community and everyone in the chat here that's supports us each week. I dropped a brand new video today where I go to a flea market and I find a crazy find, so you need to check that out. If you missed my video from last week, I did a video with Mrs. Punchin. The wife took her garage sailing and she spends all my money. So if you guys like to see me go broke, there's a good video to watch. I'll be dropping a video, I think, tomorrow on my card channel, picking and punching cards. I'll be dropping that tomorrow, and I'll be dropping a lot more pack opening. And then later on in the week, I'll be dropping a video on my flipping and punching channel. But come check me out tomorrow night. I'll be on Keith's channel. We'll be doing a podcast. If you guys like this, come check it out. Hang out with us tomorrow night.
All right. So next week's going to be fun. We have two people on that haven't been on in a long time, and that is Amber. Did I say tomorrow?
Next Tuesday.
You said next week.
Okay. I felt like I said tomorrow. Next Tuesday will be Amber Resells and Mike Golden State Picker. Neither one of them have been on with us in a while, so it will be a good show next week. So make sure to join us. Tomorrow is a video that I don't do a ton of anymore, and that is just me talking. And instead of beating you up for what you shouldn't do, it is me telling you what you can do to get your sales up and improve your sales in reselling, not just eBay. So it's I think 5 to 7 tips to improve and increase your sales. And then Friday is going to be another what sold, because I told you guys we've done about 4,000 this week. So I had enough to make 2 what sold videos. There was enough that I felt like I should show you. So that's what I have got coming up. And then again, for the members, Saturday will be live sourcing. I appreciate you guys. Keith, Troy, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Rod, thank you for coming back.
Thanks for
All of
showing
you
up.
in the chat, we couldn't do it without you. We really appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.